Right guys, good morning, welcome back to another video. Today we've got the tractor and tanker on again. We're over at Rowden, which is our science farm, as I like to call it, that Dr. Phil looks after most of the time. He comes here and does all the feeding every morning. We're going to do some drain maintenance. Now, I mentioned this before, and we've done it on the channel before. We've got this enormous gully that sits in front of the silage pits here. And what that does is it catches any effluent that comes out of these pits. So that concrete slope this way, concrete slope this way. And yeah, so any dirty water or effluent is caught in this gully, goes down to a little drain there, and then goes into an underground tank that we can suck up over near the tanker there. Now, because we've had so much rain, these drains, which is just like yard runoff, have got overwhelmed. I believe they feed into these two big ponds here, and basically a lot more water's gone into the gully than normally does. So what that means is we've had to come over more often and suck it out and take it back, put it in the pit at home. Which is a bit of a pain, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We've got a bulb at home that is full and overflowing that I need to empty. And the reason I've come over here first is because this is where the pipe is that I need. Craig took a load out of here one day last week when this was really on its limit, just to ease the pressure for a minute. So we'll connect ourselves up, we'll take another load out of here. I had to come here to get the pipe anyway, so I might as well take a load home whilst I'm here. And basically, yeah, there's a tank and underground there. We'll hook this on there, we'll suck up a load and take home. And then I'll show you what we're doing at home, emptying the bulb there. Fair bit going on today. Craig's got the little cast pivot steer handler on hire from Southwest Handling. We're cleaning out the sheep sheds, so we might see a bit of that as well. Vital part of the operation. Oh, up and over. Well, as you can see, it's another beautiful day here in Devon. I've got the pipe on the side here now, so I'll just use these clever little bungees I made out of a bit of bungee cord. They're tied on the inside there, and then I've got these knots in them, so depending on what size pipe you have, you stretch it till it's tight, put the knot in the crook, and it stops the pipe falling out. I think the one on the front is missing. It is. So that'll sit down, and that won't go anywhere. We've got this little stick. And what that does is that sits in the gap between that nut there and that nut there when that's open, because it likes to fall down. So we keep hold of that stick because he is perfect size. Got some oil in case we need it. We'll leave it on pressure until we get home, just in case, because this is just literally water, in case any of it wants to leak out anywhere. It will stay pressurised in the tank. So for anyone that's not been following the videos too long, they might not have seen this farm. This is called Rowden, where a lot of our science cattle live. So there's 90 cattle over here in 3 sheds. The sheds are all identical, they just get fed different diets. So here's some of the cows here. The heifer that calved at 13 months old, she actually came out of the green shed, which is that one behind me. And what we're sucking up from there with the tanker, that tank also takes any water that goes down these grids. So any dirty water that comes out and might spill into here, or come out the dung store and go into here, that also goes into that tank. So what we do when it's full is we just go and suck it up. And normally, this time of year, we'd be able to travel on the ground and spread it. But as we all know, this has been a very tricky spring. We had a really dry February, and now March has been incredibly wet. So we've got to take it home and put it in a holding pond. Right, we're on emptying. This is a bit of deja vu if you watched the last video. But that is the holding pond we use, so that is where it all goes. As I said earlier, Craig has got the little cast handler here emptying out the sheep shed. So he's emptying these out. I think the plan is to run the farm sheep down here. Normally the science sheep live here. But they've nearly all finished lambing. Because we've got a camera down here, we can keep a bit of an eye on them. Looks like there's a ewe there lambing now. I'm not an expert, but I would say that suggests lambing is happening. I'm sure one of the sheep team will be down to look at that in a minute.
Good, you want to clean that pen out in a minute?
Yeah, just doing lambing. It's always raining when you hire this.
Yeah. Carbs extra.
I've got a bulb I've got to empty, or an onion, whatever you call them. A container underground. Up behind the midden. The midden is historically leaked. I think it goes down like under the concrete and out the back. And so when we had some work done here a couple of years ago, we got the builders to dig it all up, put a couple of onions underground so that we can catch that leakage so it's not going down anywhere it shouldn't. And they basically got full up, so I've got to suck it all up and chuck it in the well, chuck it in here. Right, let's rock and roll. I don't know if you can see from there, but that is it's definitely full. Oh, right, let's get sucking. Starting off on the bowl. I can't remember quite how many loads this holds, but it's very thin for a while, and then it actually goes into a very, very big bowl. You can see it's been leaking and running down. I mean, there's a wood there, so it's not the end of the world, but it's still really, really leaking. I'm going to suck this up, take it back to the same place as the other one. That's our dung midden there, and the leak that they found, they basically piped it to the corner. There's a concrete bung there, and then it pipes down to this onion here, and then from here it overflows if we don't empty it. So we do our best to keep it empty. Again, as I said, normally we'd spread this straight onto the ground. We just can't. Too wet, too wet. The nice thing about water is it sucks it up so quick, so light. Won't be long sucking up a load. Nearly dinner time as well. Marvellous. We've got this nifty homemade thing that Craig made for lifting grids. So it's got like a key on a bolt, and you can basically lever them up and move them, because these grids are so heavy when they're bolted together. You really struggle or do your back in trying to lift them. So he's made this clever device. Whoa, we're full. Bit of spillage there. Thank you, GoPro. I might give this tanker a wash when we finish today, because it's in need of one. We just recently got a new pressure washer as well, so don't really need an excuse to use it, do you? Here it goes. Lovely stuff. So, probably a good thing you can't smell that, because that is right. What is it? Everything about slurry, dirty water stinks, and the smell just gets everywhere. There's one more load in there, and then I'm going to wash the tanker. That's the plan. I don't know if anyone else has it, but I use these Chrome Northwest air fresheners. This one's called Jelly Fresh, just to keep the cab smelling nice, and myself when it's something like slurry, which is absolutely honking. And I get them from AgriGuards, a chap called Tom, as well as mirror guards, mats, step plates, everything in the tractor here is all from AgriGuards. So check out Tom at agriguards.co.uk if you want anything for the inside of your tractor. Just having a chat with Bowman and the doc, which is quite interesting actually. Phil's doing a bit of work on how the data that we produce here as a farm platform is made available. And I know there's people that watch channel that are interested in the data that we produce here. So at the moment, all of our data that we produce on the farm platform is publicly available, but there's a bit of a process to go through to be able to access it. So you can type in North Wyke Farm Platform Data Portal on Google, and it'll take you to a page whereby you can click to register, and you have to send an email to an email address in order to get a login, I think. Not entirely sure how it works. I think Phil's going to try and look at a way to streamline that so that the data is much more available to people that want it, because I'm sure there's people watching that are interested in the data that we produce, just because they're interested in, let alone people that want to use it for research purposes or, you know, university purposes or whatever. But perhaps you want to leave some comments below about it. I don't know, if you want to try and log on and try and make a login, might be interesting. Another load empty. I'm going to suck up one more and then we'll give the tanker a bit of a spruce up. I think Phil said there's something like 80 million data points, or 80 million pieces of data that have been collected here on the farm, that are publicly available, but people just don't necessarily know how to access the data, or the data's not very easy for people to access, which you know, should be something that we are working harder on changing, I suppose. But yeah, if anyone's interested, North Wyke Farm Data Portal, Google that, and that'll kick you off on being able to access the data that we produce here. Hopefully that sort of demonstrated how the device that Craig made works. It's a lot easier on your back than trying to do it individually or without it, because they are flipping heavy. Right, that's all loaded, so I'm going to empty that and then we're going to give it a wash. Right, we are in the wash bay with the tanker. Now, believe it or not, this tanker is red. I know it looks like musky brown colour at the moment. It should clean up all right. We cleaned it up once before on a video because everyone was giving me grief about how dirty it was. And turns out the paint underneath isn't very good, and it's covered in all this rubbish here and whatever. But we'll give it a wash, see what it comes up like. We have got ourselves a new steam cleaner, so there's a Karcher. Our old one, I don't know how old it was quite old and it done an awful lot of work, and it just died. Beyond the point of being economical to repair, so we've now got this new Karcher, so we'll give that one a go and see what it's like. Doesn't look too bad, does it? The paint's faded and the top stuff's really stuck on there, but looks a bit different. Perhaps one day, if we're really bored in the winter looking for something to do, we'll respray it, but not at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to do the other side. Just cleaning the tanker. I've done the other side, started working my way around from the top down this way, and I just noticed there was a note here on the side of the tanker. Look, sub. I guess that means subscribe. Like the video whilst you're at it. Well, here is the finished product. One downside to our new steam cleaner is it's not got a very long lance, so I couldn't get to the front to do the front of the tanker, but never mind. We have got a lance from our old one that we can adapt to fit the new one, I think, but that's a job for another day. But yeah, look at it. It is red. Now, a lot of the paint is faded. You can see I've probably taken some of it off with the steam as I've been going, but it's had so much of this like mossy, I don't know what you call these, barnacle looking things growing on it, that that takes the paint off anyway. If you remove them, it takes the paint with it. I don't think it's doing too badly for a 2008 tanker. Makes it 15 years old, and it does everything we need it to do. There will come a time that if we want to make more use of our slurry that we have here, and when they implement the rules of having to use a dribble bar or an injector or whatever, that we'll have to change this, because there's no brackets on it to fit anything to it. I know you can fit them to the door here on some of the stripper bars and whatever. But it would probably just make more sense to change the tanker if and when the time comes. But for now, it does exactly what we want it to do. So I'm going to go and hook it. Yes, just what we need. Look, some more rain. Just what the doctor ordered. It's going to be one of those years, I think. It's just going to be wet upon wet upon wet, and then it will dry out and we won't have rain till the mid-November, I expect. That's farming. Right, I am tucked up in the shed because it is absolutely heaving down outside. I'm going to go and make use of myself in the office on the computer because there's nothing on in the yard I want to be doing right now. But thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe to the channel. We are nearly getting towards 15,000, which is incredible. If you want to view any of the data, I'll try and leave a link either in the description or as a pinned comment, so people can at least find the place to look at the data that we produce here as a starting point. If you're interested, there's loads of my social links in the description as well, so make sure to check them out. And I'll see you guys on another video very soon. Cheerio.